Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Small Sister podcast. My name is Brenno de Winter. I have a laptop here that runs Windows.
No, not Windows.
Oh yes, it does run Windows. And I want to protect the data on my machine in the case somebody tries to steal it or if somebody wants to sneak through my data. The thing is, there is this wonderful program out there called TrueCrypt, which is open source and is freely available. And you can easily install it and it can encrypt the entire hard disk. So before you boot up, you have to enter a password. And in the event that something happens to it, they at least can't get through your data. Of course, you would still lose your hardware, but mainly the real value of a computer is the data stored in it. As with any other package, we need to download the software first. For this we go to the website www.truecrypt.org, see the link in the bottom of the screen, and start downloading the package. That's done really rapidly because it's only 2.5 megabytes. The software, by the way, also runs for Linux and Mac OS X. As usual, we read through the license agreement from top to bottom. And once we've done that, we accept the license and start installing it. Choose install. Since we are going to encrypt the disk, we do have to install the software. Don't worry about it, because if the disk is crypted, nobody can see what you've got installed on the system anyhow. Okay, the installation is done. It's really that rapid as you see in the video here. And let's have a look at the software itself. If we double click on the new icon that we have, you see the interface. Okay, so we have the main screen. We want to create a volume because we want to overwrite the entire disk, and that is the third option, encrypt a system partition or entire drive. The feature that we are using is actually very new in TrueCrypt and is not yet available for Linux or Mac OS X. So if you've got a multi-boot system with different operating systems, you need to encrypt the Windows system partition. And otherwise you can select the entire drive. So I'm going to encrypt my whole drive and I'll press next. And then the system will look for hidden sectors. In my case there are none. And jump on to the next question, which is basically, do I have a single boot or a multi-boot system? Well, I've got a very simple computer, as most people, so I'll select single boot. Then we can look at the encryption options. We've got AES, Serpent and Twofish as the algorithms. I'll stick to AES since that is even used in most transactions and is actually a standard for most systems, but the other tools are just fine, but they didn't make it through the competition just as good as AES. If you're very paranoid, you can select multiple encryption standards, but I would advise against that. Cryptographic experts have explained to me that it is not a wise decision, and second of all, it might slow down the system significantly. I'll stick also to the hash algorithm. TrueCrypt starts to warn us that there can be a difference in keyboard layout and that might give problems with the password, but we do need a password because that is the actual protection at the moment somebody has the computer in hand. So what you want to do is select a complex long password, but one of course that you can remember, and enter that. Of course, as you can see here, you start making mistakes because of the length of it, but this is a very important thing for your protection. Now comes my favorite part because we can start acting funny. The system needs random data to have a good encryption scheme, and by moving the mouse around, TrueCrypt gathers random data. So take your time a little bit for a couple of seconds, move the mouse around a little bit and see the random data being collected. After that, your cryptographic system should be just fine. Okay, the keys are generated, everything is ready for encryption, so let's take a precautionary measure, and that is creating a rescue disk. You have to be able to burn a CD-ROM, and that CD-ROM will be used as soon as the system is not legible no more and you want to repair the disk. The emergency disk might bail you out big time, so you need to do it, otherwise you cannot continue the installation. That took me 10 minutes to do. Now the next question is, what do we do with deleted data? I would say we can override it so that deleted files won't fall in somebody's hands, and you can override it 3 to 7 times according to military standards or more. You might decide it's not a risk and then you can skip it altogether. That's a lot quicker, but of course it does pose a little risk. I always play secure, so I wipe 7 times. I get a warning for that because it takes a little bit longer, but I think it's worth the time to be as secure as possible, else you shouldn't be doing encryption at all, I think. After that, we are finally ready to start the encryption process, and that means that we have to restart the computer to perform a test if the password really works. So let's start and do that. Okay, so we are rebooting. We need to enter our password or passphrase, and once that's done, the system will boot. I'll speed it up in the movie a bit. And we get a warning what to do if something goes wrong after the encryption, because the encryption starts as we speak. What you will see is that the time left will jump back and forth a little bit. Don't worry about it. It may take a while before it's done encrypting, but you can work in the meantime, but your system will be slower because of all the encryption going on. This is a one-time process, and after it's done, you're back working as you are used to. And there we have it. It's all done after a while of waiting. It can actually last a couple of hours in a bad situation. But hey, then you have a fully encrypted disk. You can remain working, you can reboot and find out that it really works. I'm using my web browser here as we speak, and you see it's not really an issue. So have a lot of fun using this and be safe. And there we have it. The data inside is now fully encrypted, secure, so if you've got any privacy sensitive information on it, nobody can browse through it, or if the likely event occurs that somebody were to steal your laptop, nothing basically would happen to the system. So,
thank you very much.
See you next episode.